Hollywood didn't make me rich. Owning Hollywood did. But nobody bothered to ask how. Well, ever wonder how a small-town kid with $7 in his pocket turned into one of the wealthiest figures in Hollywood without anyone noticing the strategy? In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how I built a $375 million empire by following 8 specific financial principles that anyone can use. Not the Hollywood fairy tale they want you to believe. The real story. Let's get something straight. This isn't about luck. It's about strategy. My strategy. Most folks think they know my story. Started as Rowdy Yates on Rawhide, became the man with no name, then Dirty Harry. Made some money, made some movies. Simple. Dead wrong. See, while everyone was watching the characters, I was building something much bigger behind the scenes. Something that would outlast any role. When I first came to Hollywood in the 1950s, I saw something most actors missed. The real money wasn't in front of the camera. It was behind it. Ownership. Control. Independence. First principle, never settle for your paycheck when you can own the business. Look at that contract from my early days. Standard studio deal. They owned everything, my time, mine. Image, the profits. I was making $700 an episode on Rawhide, while the studio made millions. That wasn't going to work for me. You know what I did in 1967? That changed everything. I formed Malpaso Productions. My company. My rules. Second principle, create your own vehicle instead of riding in someone else's. Most actors were happy getting cast. I wanted to do the casting. Most wanted starring roles. I wanted to own the whole production. When a fistful of dollars came along, everyone thought I was crazy to go make some foreign western with an unknown Italian director. But I saw something they didn't. Opportunity doesn't wear a name tag. Sometimes it's disguised as risk. That film cost $200,000 to make and brought in $14.5 million. But here's what most people don't know. I took a percentage of profits instead of a higher salary. That one decision put an extra $1.1 million in my pocket when everyone else took their flat fee and went home. Third principle, always think long-term, even when everyone else is sprinting for quick cash. Remember when I told you about ownership? In 1970, I did something nobody in Hollywood was doing. I negotiated for ownership stakes in my films. Not just salary, not just profit participation, actual ownership of the intellectual property. This right here. This is the difference between making millions and making hundreds of millions. When you own your content, you make money every time someone watches it. Forever. That's what I meant when I said I didn't get rich from Hollywood. I got rich by owning pieces of Hollywood. By 1971, I wasn't just an actor anymore. I was a businessman who happened to act. Big difference. You know, playing jazz taught me something important about money. It's all about improvisation within structure. Having a plan, but being flexible enough to see opportunities when they appear. Fourth principle, diversify before you need to. If you're liking these insights so far, hit that like button. Not for me, I've got my millions, but so other folks can discover these principles too. I don't share this stuff often. Most celebrities buy mansions in Beverly Hills. I bought half of Carmel by the Sea. Well, not half, but enough. Fifth principle: real assets outlast fame every time. While other stars were buying Lamborghinis and watching their money disappear, I was quietly acquiring land. This 32-acre mission ranch property I bought in 1986. I paid $5 million when developers wanted to turn it into condos. No. What it's worth today? Over $100 million. But I didn't sell it. I turned it into a hotel and restaurant that generates revenue every single day. Asset that produces cash flow, that's the secret sauce. Remember earlier when I mentioned creating your own vehicle? Here's where that really paid off. In 1988, I negotiated a deal with Warner Bros. That few people know about. Instead of just directing and starring in films for them, I secured a rare arrangement. Malpaso Productions would be based on their lot, but I maintained creative control and ownership. This wasn't just about making movies my way. This was about building an empire with someone else's resources. Sixth principle: use other people's money whenever possible. Remember that ownership strategy I mentioned? By the 1990s, I owned significant stakes in films like Unforgiven, The Bridges of Madison County, and later Gran Torino and American Sniper. When American Sniper made over $547 million on a $58 million budget, guess who owned a substantial piece of that success? Not just salary, not just director's fees. Ownership. You're probably wondering, if he's worth $375 million, why doesn't he live like a typical Hollywood multimillionaire? Seventh principle: live below your means, no matter how high those means get. I still live in the same house I've had for decades. Still drive American-made trucks, not Bentleys. Still wear the same style of clothes I've always worn. The fastest way to lose wealth is to look wealthy. The quietest millionaires are usually the richest. Now I'm going to tell you what nobody knows about how I really built this empire. The parts they don't write about in those celebrity net worth articles. Eighth principle: control isn't just about money, it's about time. In 1971, I directed my first film, Play Misty for Me. The studio wanted me to just star in it. I said I'd do both or neither. They thought I was being difficult. I was being strategic. By directing my own films, I cut the time investment in half. Instead of spending 6 months acting in someone else's film, then another 6 in another project, I could do both simultaneously. This wasn't just about creative control. This was about time efficiency. While other actors were making 1 film a year, I was making 2 or 3 as both actor and director. More projects, more ownership stakes, more wealth building. Here's something even fewer people know. In the 1990s, I started structuring my deals using something called first dollar gross instead of net profits. Hollywood accounting is designed to make net profits disappear. First dollar gross means I get paid from the first dollar the film makes before the studio recoups its costs. When Gran Torino made $270 million on a $33 million budget, most directors would get a percentage after the studio took its cut. My deal gave me 20% of every dollar from the beginning. That's over $50 million from one project. You might remember, I became mayor of Carmel in 1986. Most thought it was a vanity project. It wasn't. As mayor, I gained intimate knowledge of zoning laws, property values, and development opportunities. Within 2 years of leaving office, I had acquired 3 more major properties in the area, all of which have multiplied in value many times over. Remember that diversification principle. This is how deep it goes. When I bought the Mission Ranch, I didn't just save a historic property. I created a business that would generate income, whether I made movies or not. Same with the Tehama Golf Club I developed. It's not just a golf course. It's 2,000 acres of prime California real estate with multi-million-dollar homes. I don't just own the club, I own substantial surrounding land. That appreciates every year. The 9th principle, yes, there's one more I haven't mentioned yet. Reputation is a financial asset. My reputation for bringing projects in under budget and ahead of schedule meant studios would approve my films when they'd reject similar concepts from others. This wasn't just about artistic freedom. It was about getting more opportunities to build wealth. Look at the thumbnail of this video. See those contract terms? That's the real secret. Not just the money I made, but the terms that allowed me to multiply it over decades. If you've stayed with me this long and you're finding value in these principles, hit that subscribe button. Not for algorithms or numbers, but because I've got more insights coming on how I structured the business side of my career that you won't hear anywhere else. Let me wrap this up by telling you something important. The $375 million empire wasn't built on acting talent alone. Plenty of talented actors die broke. It wasn't built on directing skills alone. Plenty of great directors never see the real money. It was built on understanding that Hollywood is a business first and entertainment second. It was built by seeing the whole chessboard when others were focused on a single piece. By thinking like an owner, not an employee. By making financial decisions, not just creative ones. Here's what I want you to take away from this. 1. Ownership beats income every time too. Create your own opportunities rather than waiting for them. 3. Think decades, not years. 4. Live well below your means. 5. Diversify before you need to. 6. Use other people's resources whenever possible. 7. Make time efficiency a financial strategy. 8. Structure deals that pay from $19. Build a reputation that becomes a financial asset. Remember what I said at the beginning. Hollywood didn't make me rich. Owning Hollywood did. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 9 principles could you apply to your own life right now? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see how my approach compares to another self-made billionaire with a completely different strategy, I'm breaking down the surprising similarities and stark differences between my wealth-building approach and Warren Buffett's in my next video. 2 different paths, similar results, universal principles you can use. Remember what Dirty Harry said, a man's got to know his limitations, but when it comes to building wealth, a smart person knows how to eliminate those limitations altogether. That's the truth of it.